Hey, moving to a new apartment, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite movies. And today I'm going to be doing another one of those videos where I talk about what I'd watched in the last couple of weeks. March 2022 Part 2. So, starting off, I watched Nightmare Alley directed by Guillermo del Toro, which is a film released last year. I already did a full-length movie review on this movie, so I'm not going to talk too much here, but essentially, the production design and the cinematography are really nice. There are a lot of wide angles here, and I do like it in general. I think it feels way more fantastical and magical than the original film released in 1947, I believe. That being said though, I think this film is a little bit too long for its own good. Just a little bit. So overall, I still think it's okay, and I think it deserves the Best Picture nomination. I mean, it's not that great, but it's pretty good. 8 out of 10. Then I finished watching Euphoria Season 2, created by Sam Levinson. I know, Euphoria has never been something that I really enjoy. Euphoria Season 1, in my opinion, is just kind of mediocre, and Euphoria Season 2 is not that much better. In fact, it's a little bit worse. To me, it just felt like an 8-hour-long, flashy, glamorous music video where the teenagers are just a bunch of pill-popping, sexual deviant scums. Drugs? Yay! Sex? Yay! Alcohol? Yay! Beating people up? Yay! That's it. Nothing else. I mean, the opening episode is pretty good, and episode 5 of season 2 is genuinely amazing. It's so amazing that it doesn't even feel like it belongs to Euphoria. But overall, the plot is just very repetitive, very unrealistic, and I don't know why. I just can't relate to any of the characters at all. Maybe it's because I'm not American. I spent all my teenage years in Hong Kong. I grew up in Hong Kong, and I guess in Hong Kong shit like this never happens, so maybe I'm just not American enough to understand it. I don't fucking know, but yeah, 5 out of 10. Next up, I watched Bir Zamanlar Andalo Dula from the year 2011, or Once Upon a Time in Anatolia, directed by Nuri Bilge Ceylan. So I watched this film because of my college cinematography course. This is the second film we had to watch, and this is a super slow-paced, deconstructed crime drama, a Turkish film. And to be honest, I'm fine with slow films. I mean, Drive My Car, I love it. Friggin' Yi, I friggin' love that film. But this is a whole next level of slow. This is one of the slowest films I've ever watched. And maybe I'm just not high IQ enough to appreciate it, but I'm gonna be honest here, I didn't enjoy it all that much. I mean, the lighting and the cinematography are really beautiful, and I think the last 40 minutes, the last half an hour or so is pretty good. But overall, it's just kinda okay, I guess. 7 out of 10. Next up, I watched The Raid from 2011, directed by Gareth Evans. The Raid is an Indonesian action film, and it's basically 100 minutes of pure, unfiltered, gritty, violent action. It is some of the most exhilarating and intense action I've ever seen in cinema. It absolutely slaps. That being said though, when I first started watching the film, I was very disappointed because it's all dub. It's all American English dub. Why? Why? I tried my very freaking best hunting high and low for sub, not dub. I want to hear the original Indonesian lines. But you know what, at the end, I just can't find it, and since it's an action film, there's not much dialogue anyways, who cares? And yeah, this movie can get kind of corny at times, but the movie is made for action and entertainment and nothing else, and it definitely slaps. 9 out of 10. Strong 8 to a light 9. Next up, I watched Westside Story 2021, directed by Steven Spielberg. It's the remake of a movie of the same name from the 1960s. And it's pretty good. I mean, I like it more than the original. I think the pacing, the production is definitely way better. But overall, I think the songs are not that catchy and the story is just kind of okay, and the movie is a little bit long than I would have liked it to be. So, yeah, again, it's good, don't get me wrong, but it's just not that great or anything. Strong 7 to a light 8 out of 10. Then I watched Cure from the year 1997, directed by Kurosawa Kiyoshi. And I'm gonna be honest here, this film is slowly becoming one of my favorite horror films of all times. It is cold, distant, abstract, disturbing, very psychological, and kinda artsy. I love the editing choices, they're very choppy, quick, and they're very refreshing. I also really love the ending where the violence gets really subtle but also really memorable and thought-provoking. This is definitely the kind of horror film that you just can't watch one time and enjoy completely. It's a film made for rewatches, so I am excited to rewatch this again anytime soon. 9 out of 10. Okay, right now I'm going to talk about a bunch of short films that I've watched. They're nominated for Oscars, and I watched some of them, which are available on YouTube. Well, some of them are not anymore, but I watched them when they were. So, starting off, we have The Windshield Wiper, nominated for Best Animated Short, directed by Alberto Mielgo. And, it's bad. I don't like it. This kind of short films grind my gears. I mean, it looks good, the animation is cool, nice colors and all, but it's like I'm watching a We Live in a Society compilation. It's so toothless and lame and shallow. It's way shallower than it thinks it is. And I really love it when it showed some footage and animation inspired by Hong Kong. As a Hong Konger, I freaking love it. But the references to Hong Kong here is very inaccurate and basically adds nothing to the overall theme and plot of the short film at all. You know, we have a female character dressed up like a 1980s Japanese girl, school uniform, in Hong Kong with billboards with simplified Chinese. Do your research, guys! 4 out of 10. Next up, I watched Affairs of the Art, directed by Joanna Quinn. And I mean, it looks good, but everything else is just really weird in an awkward, unhinged way. Not in a good way. Like, what the fuck is even happening? 6 out of 10. Then I watched Bestia, directed by Hugo Covarrubias. And I'm gonna be honest here, this is my favorite out of all the Oscar-nominated animated shorts this year. It looks good, it's weird, it's disturbing, artsy, and you know me, I love that kind of shit. 8 out of 10. And then for live-action shorts, I watched The Long Goodbye, directed by Anil Karia and Riz Ahmed. And I like Riz Ahmed, he's a good actor, he's a good dude, but this is just The message about racism is just very ham-fisted, the editing is not that good, and it's just not all that great. 6 out of 10. Then I watched On My Mind, directed by Martin Strange Hansen, a Danish short film. And I don't know why it's getting so much hate, but I actually kind of like it. It's simple, emotional, and effective. It has a low budget and it knows how to work with one. Strong 7 out of 10. Alright, I have Spanish class, so I'm gonna hurry up. Next up, I watched In the Mood for Love, or Fire Ninwa, from 2000, and this is a rewatch. This is my second time watching the film, directed by the one and only Wong Kar-wai. And I watched this film for my cinematography class. This is my professor's favorite film of all time, so goddamn, my professor has great taste in film. And for my second watch of this film, I've picked up so much more than I originally saw. There are so many subtexts in this film, the mustard dip, the Japanese stamp posts, the martial arts novels, and I'm able to read these subtexts way more and appreciate them way more. I'm also able to appreciate the colors and composition like way more this time when I watch it. Oh my god, the colors are brilliant, they are ingenious. The texture, the composition, the editing is great, the soundtrack is gorgeous, the ending is depressing as hell. It is a masterpiece. It really is, and it had grown a lot on me. 10 out of 10. Let me take a sip of water. Next up, I watched Stop Making Sense from the year 1984, directed by Jonathan Demme. And I thought it's a documentary. I mean, it technically is, but actually no. It's a concert film where talking heads perform live in Los Angeles. Burning down the house! Burning down the house! 9 out of 10. Next up, I watched Ririshu no Subete from the year 2001, directed by Iwai Shunji. And this film has got to be one of the top films on my watch list. I've been waiting to watch this film for a very long time, and I'm sure tons of my followers and subscribers are also waiting for this review. And wow, I have a lot to say about this film, so much so that I made a 20-minute long movie review on it. Check that one out. But in short, I think this is probably one of the most relatable teen films I've ever seen in my life, even though it's still not super relatable or anything. I love how dreamy and depressing it is, and there are a lot of great themes about loneliness and confusion and angst being explored. I feel like this movie would really hit me hard if I was in a slightly different headspace when I watched it, but nonetheless, it's still a masterpiece. I look forward to watching it again. The cinematography is beautiful, the soundtrack is amazing, and there's just something really personal about it. Something magical, almost. 10 out of 10. Yeah, no cap.
No cap.
Finally, I just finished watching, like a couple hours ago, Så som i en spegel, or Through a Glass Darkly, written and directed by Ingmar Bergman. Yes, for the last couple of months, I've been binge watching Bergman films. And like Persona, I feel like I'm just too stupid to understand this movie. I mean, yeah, it's good. The acting, the cinematography, it's wonderful. But essentially, this film is a slow-burning, abstract family drama that touches on mental illness, hatred, incest, suicide, and faith. You know, good old Bergman. And this time, it's a very contained, low-budget movie. To be honest, this feels more like a play than an actual film. And I don't know, the smaller, more constrained size does make this film feel a little smaller than the other Bergman films I've seen. And in my opinion, this film feels like one huge complicated allegory, and I feel like I have to do some research and rewatch it in order to really appreciate it more. But still, I really love the dialogue. I think the acting is really great. The script is definitely really good. It's just kind of slow and abstract, and I don't really know. I'm gonna rewatch it. Strong 7 to a light 8 out of 10. So, have you watched these films? Comments below let me know. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you want more.